This is the Coffee and Jesus podcast. Before I knew God, I was chasing mostly fame. Also, I was chasing after different experiences, thinking that I'd find something along the way that would make me no longer feel empty. But when I was seeking fame, I wanted to be known by many different people, and I wanted them to admire me, and I wanted to be kind of glorified by them. And that was something I was seeking, and I was doing that by writing different things. I wanted to be a successful author, and then I also wanted to be a musician, and so I'd play music for people. And those were two major things I was seeking. When I was seeking experiences, I would seek after different drug experiences, different experiences with women, and I would seek after whatever kinds of things on this earth could fill the emptiness or make me feel like I've gotten somewhere. Over time, I found all those experiences, the feelings would fade away, none of them would last, and then I'd return to the same spot that I was at before I started seeking them, and most of the time even in a worse place, because then I'd experience the thing that I thought would bring me happiness, but it didn't, and I'd feel let down and kind of like, what's the purpose of even being here, you know? And that's kind of where it left me.
What were you freed from?
When I became a believer, I was free from many different things, but I think one of the major things I always think of is in the Bible it talks about God has left the task of collecting and finding for the faithless, but he provides for his children. And so when I was living away from God, everything I did, I had to do it on my own, and I had to figure out, how will I get to this place? How will I do this? Now that I've been following God, he provides everything for me. And along with that, I've lost my anxiety. I've lost my suicidal thoughts, my depression. I no longer have drug addictions that I had. It's like I have none of those chains of addiction that I had when I was living in the world. And those are the things God saved me from.
What would you say to someone who's like chasing God, but not desperately enough?
For someone who's chasing God, but not desperately enough, I think you have to realize that when you give everything to God, he'll take care of you, because sometimes you feel like you don't trust that God's got your back if you give everything up and you follow him. It seems like I want to hang on to these things because there's still happiness there. What I found is that God can meet you where you're at. And even though I had all these things and I thought I want them still, I gave them to God. I said, God, I don't know what I can do. These things make me happy, but I'm going to trust you that you'll take care of me, and I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to begin to follow you. And God was faithful to, when I gave those things up, he took care of me, and he brought me to friend groups where I now have deeper relationships with people than anyone I knew before, and he took care of all my mental problems. It says in Ecclesiastes that when God gives joy to people so much that they don't often think about the days that go by. And for me, I feel like ever since I've started following God, I have so much joy that I don't really think about all the days that happened in the past. I just am kind of content to be alive. And I never had that before, because before I would be anxious all the time, depressed all the time, all those things.
Do you want to share anything else? Anything in your heart?
Well, today we were reading the story of Jacob and his wrestle with God, and it kind of made me think of the question of who were you and what did you want before Christ, and who are you now that you met Christ? And before Christ, I was much like Jacob, fighting for who I wanted to be, who I thought I was, because God tells Jacob, he says, "What's your name?" And Jacob says, "My name is Jacob." But as they continue to fight, God says, "Your name isn't Jacob, it's Israel." In a way, God says, this is who I say you are, not who you say you are. When I was a non-believer, I said, I'm this guy. I'm going to write these books. I'm going to do these things. This is going to be me. But when I met Christ, Christ said, no, this is who you are. And it's someone very different. But I'm so thankful I trusted him, because the person who I was becoming is not the person I want to be. And I'm very thankful that I'm not going to be that person now. And yeah.